real quick, I want to do a fair use. Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah Yahawashi. All praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. Like give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. The elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. To you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yahawah with the lesson, Chaos in Mexico and then the world.
Protest in Mexico spiraling out of control. As you can see here, the police saying that this has turned into a riot, and they're saying that thousands of Gen Z demonstrators have stormed the National Palace where the president stays. These are labeled anti-corruption protests. So literally thousands of people, mobs of people frustrated with what's happening through and through with the country. They know that the cartel has a major grip on a large portion, but the corruption on the other side is what got it to this. They don't trust any of the factions, and they're in the streets fighting the police head on. So there's no one that supports them from their viewpoint. And they stormed the presidential palace where the president stays. And we've talked about this, the control set up by the Mossad all around the globe, especially in Mexico. But now the Mexican people, the younger group here, Gen Z, rising to the occasion, doing this, and they see what's about to happen in their country, what's happening and about to happen. Trump has labeled the cartels terrorist groups. They are about to start striking them in a military campaign. This is going to go all the way down to Venezuela and back. One huge region of Central America that's going to become a war zone here at any moment. And when this happens, when strikes start hitting cartel leadership in other areas inside of Mexico, you can bet somewhere along the line some innocent people are going to die. And it's just going to cause more chaos. People do not want America drone striking their country, even if it's so-called baddies. Well, who's the baddies? When the cartel controls half the freaking country down there, and then the government doesn't seem to care about the rest of it. I pray for the Mexican people all in all, for all people worldwide to overcome the corruption that's within all the governments everywhere. And in this instance, this may flare up. I actually foresee this getting worse all over the place. As war picks up in the area and the strikes begin, which have not even happened yet, when they begin, you can expect this to go into overdrive. And then blowback's going to hit America here at some point. So Trump's sitting there quiet. They're about to strike Venezuela any moment. And those strikes are going to run all the way to our border. Anyone that they label a threat in the middle. So this is the latest. I'll leave a link with more footage, and join me for the live streams where I talk about this in greater detail. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, so this is Job chapter 20, verse 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. So that's the straits, a place of difficultness, right? Right, and that's what's about to happen, man. Right, a place of difficultness is about to happen to the planet Earth, right? And the thing about the elites is they think they have it all in control, right? Because they think they have the fullness of everything, they have the fatness of the land by the sword, right? And they have plenty of new weaponry, that they feel that would ensure, them to keep that fullness of sufficiency. But Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, has other plans for him to be in what shall be in straightness, man, which is a place of difficultness. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, right? Yeah, so this is the blue letter, Job 20 and 22. I'm going to the transliterate, right? So we can get a better understanding. Let's see, let's go into straightness real quick.
Strong's H 3334. Yahtzee.
Yahtzee says to bind, to distressed, to be distressed, be in distress, be cramped, be narrow, right? Be secant, be in straightness, make narrow, cause distress, besieged, right? And that's basically, let's see what that let's see how that goes. Let's see if it goes into defeat, besiege, right?
Defeat.
Right? So that's like another way of being
Besiege.
Yeah, besiege, besiege in the German, right?
Besiege.
Besieged, right? Yeah, pressed, beset, attacked, besieged, right? Okay, that was straightness. Oh yeah, wicked.
Strong's H 6001. A male.
Amal or Amal. That's what he said, Amal, but it's Amal. It says laborers, sufferers, right? Because that's what you are. You suffer, paying taxes, having these devils rule over you, things like that. Wretched ones, laborers, workmen, suffer, toilers, right? Because you're the ones who, and that's what that is. Those are the regular everyday citizens rising up against the status quo, right?
Strong's H 5998. Amal.
Yeah, see.
Amal.
See, Amal, right? Laborer, toiler, to labor, right? And that's who hands are going to come against the system, which as you could see, that's exactly what's happening, right? And even Dabu 7 said he could see the blowback coming to America, which these are things that we've been prophesying and speaking on through the faith and the hope of Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi of his return. These are the signs of the second coming of who the world ignorantly refers to as JC, right? Yeah, so this is Job 20 and 22 NLT. In the midst of plenty, right? Because that's what Esau has, man. When you have trillions and trillions of dollars, you have plenty, right? Even you regular everyday Edomites, man, You may not be rich, but you have white privilege, right? That's plenty. When you get the job before me, and then if they create a DEI just so I can finally even get a job, or what do they call it? Affirmative action, just so I can even get a job. Because if everything was fair, there would be no need to create affirmative action. If everything was fair, there would be no reason to create a DEI. Obviously, it's not fair. But then you say it's not fair, that it's not fair. So let's do away with the DEI. Let's do away with the affirmative action, right? You have plenty, man. You're in your heaven, right? And there ain't no way that you can get salvation with us. No, all right? You're in your heaven, right? It says they will run into trouble. See, and as you're trying to push forth that fourth industrial system, you're gonna run into trouble. And see, you expect the riots and stuff. You expect this is pressure from above, pressure from beneath, order out of chaos, right? The was it the gate I can't say the dialect, right? I forgot how to say it, but because my tongue get twisted on that. But you know what it is: pressure from below, pressure from above, and basically fourth, you're pushing forth that Novus Ordo Seclorum, right? But as you do that, being the fourth beast, being at the toes of the fourth beast, right? You're at the end of the end, at the end, the time of the return of the Messiah, that stone that's cut out without hands is soon to come and dash those toes into pieces, man, into kibbles, into bits, man. The Lord said, I will put thee as powder. Matter of fact, let's get that, because that's exactly what's happening. You're gonna have this trouble and be overcome by misery, right? I like that. Yeah. So this is Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 11. The Lord, the outer one, which is talking about Yahawashi, shall threaten, right? And who shall not utterly be beaten to powder at his presence. See, so you're at the toes, you're at the very end of this fourth industrial what do you call it, complex, so to speak, your fourth industrial system, being the fourth beast, pushing forth the technocrats technology to be a stumbling block and a god over people, right? And hey, you're out of here, right? At the end of the day, right? Yeah, to get back right here, it says Job chapter 20, verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, right? When everything is looking like it's just on schedule, on point to everything, your desires, your inner desires, right? Right. The power shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, right? He's going to utterly beat you to powder, right? And shall rain it upon him while he is eating, right? And that's like it's a volatile state while you were eating, right? Who's that? What was it? Cameron and Mace was speaking about how you can get robbed in LA, and there's a couple of times they'll rob you while you're eating, right? That's a volatile state. So even if you were like a big tough guy, for you to stand up and try to, it puts you, it will be hard for you to stand up in the place when especially when you're sitting down and you're eating. The table's in front of you. It's a certain way you have to get up when you're sitting down. Before you do that, they'll pull the trigger, or they'll already be trying to stab you, or whatever it may be to that you may use to attack you, right? And this is symbolic, which is meaning the Lord is going to come with those chariots. You know what I mean? When you at least expect it. You know what I mean? Though you're expecting it, right? And that's the cold part about it, because you're building your so-called protection and your space. You're expecting it, but it's going to be like unexpected, right? Yeah. Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 69, and they that consent unto them, right, the elite, the system, right, shall be had in derision, right? And that's where people are at right now. People are in derision. They're upset, right? Because their whole way of life is about to be uprooted, right? And in reproach, see, and their whole life is in a reproach because of the way that this devil is ruling, right? And trodden underfoot, yeah. See, because of the rulership, they're about to trodden everyone underfoot. So people are basically in a position where they just like, hey, the apostle said it the best, man. When which I know they quoting from someone else, but the Lord allow them to reiterate it to us, and it means so much more now, because when people have nothing to lose, they lose it, and that's what's happening. They're trodden underfoot because they lost it. They're losing it. People have nothing else to lose, so they're losing it. For there shall be in every place and in every city a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi. And ultimately, that's what this is really initially for, right? It's for the men of Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, but everyone is being, the Lord said he's going to triumph the world. The world shall be tried, right? And so the order out of chaos is really set up to try to get control of the world, but they want to shut the mouths of the men of the Lord, right? Which is, the Lord says that we're his mouthpiece. So they're really trying to shut up the Lord. Psalms 64 and 2, because we need the Lord more than we ever needed him, right? Divine intervention, right? Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, right? Because all this is technically part of their secret counsel, so that way they could say things and then basically step back and make it look like it's not them. Hey, well, it's these evil, wicked cartel people, right? They had all sorts of things to do with it, when you deal with the story of Freeway Rick, right? Was in L.A., which they known that the CIA and all that stuff was giving him cell phones and all sorts of stuff so he can evade detection from a local PD, so that way he can sell drugs. And then it wasn't until he got caught, right, and they set him up, but somehow the information got to someone higher to find out, hey, the CIA and the FBI and all that stuff had something to do with him having these drugs, which the information went all the way up to the president. They know these things. They have these connections, right along with in that time, what was it, the meddling cartel, right? They were in cahoots with them, man. Right? If you look it up, and they'll say that they didn't have cahoots, but they did, and that proves that the story of Freeway Rick proves that they had cahoots with that, man. Right? I mean, so it says, but hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, right? And this workers is not talking about the average everyday people, right? This time it's talking about the elite, right? Because they're the workers of iniquity. They're the one who control policy, right? Certain aspects of life, whether you have or you don't have, the have and the have-nots, right? Which is going to bring forth an insurrection, right? Yeah. So this is a insurrection dictionary.
Insurrection.
A violent uprising against an authority or government. See, and this is why Trump kept saying, "Oh, I can enact the Insurrection Act." Well, there's no riots. There's nothing going on. Well, what they're gonna do is disrupt life. That's why they okay, let's shut down the government, and it interrupted life, even to the point you can't even fly certain places because the people, I forgot the name of the position, but basically they determined where the planes fly. I mean, land, and and take off and make sure that they're in the, you know, in the right airspace and things like that. A lot of these people were not getting paid. You know, I can't think of the name right now. You know, that happens to me sometimes. But hey, but regardless, you know, so from flying to working to eating, that corrupt. Hey, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Right? So it leads the thing. Only one thing's gonna be left to do. It leads up to a violent uprising against an authority or government. Right? A rebellion, revolt, uprising. Again, see what that is. Munti. However you say it. Let's see what it says.
Mutiny.
Mutiny. Oh, mutiny. Oh, okay, I couldn't see. Mutiny. Okay, mutiny. Right?
Revolution.
Right. And right, that's what people think they're gonna be able to start a revolution. But I mean, this place is finished. Right? Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, the only revolution is the scriptures, man. Right? The true revolution is the understanding of the scriptures, man. That's a real revolution. Right? Knowing what's going on. And ultimately, Lord willing, be part of that elect. Lord willing, I'm part of that elect. Lord willing, the brothers that I'm around are part of that elect. Right? Right? Matter of fact, look at this right here. It says civil
disobedience.
And that's ultimately what Trump is going to say. Hey, well, this is civil disobedience. Order out of Kale. Right? Cause the problem. You see the reaction of the people, and now you come in with a solution. Come in with the martial law. You come in with the this and that, and it's very disingenuous, right? You're the one who's collapsing the dollar. You're the one who's basically making the conditions where people are lacking. So it makes for a violent situation, right? And then you come in like you're this great savior. Oh yeah, well by the way, since Bitcoin has crashed, since what's the other one? The other coin things. The dollar's crashed. All these other Bitcoin and whatever else they got out there's crashed. Well, we're gonna come in with our own dollar coin, whatever digital thing. What were they calling it? The stable coin. Okay, yeah, stable coin. Salakia. The water Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi. Help me remember. Yeah, coming with their stable coin and say, hey, we're gonna come in. We're gonna make it all stable. But the rest of you are all civil disobedient. So now we have to hash out everything and find out who's who and what's what. So here's your digital ID. Here's the charagma, and you're going to be tied to this digital system, right? Right. So this is Psalms 64:2, right? Go into that word worker because that's all sense. It's not the same worker when it's talking about the wicked, right? Which are workers. What it says, the wretched ones, the laborers, right? Which would basically be you, the regular so-called blue-collar average citizen, which, or even white collar at that point, because they're taking the riches and they're removing the middle class. So right.
Strong's H 6466. Pa'al.
Palawal, right? Palawal, to do, make, to make, right? And that's what they're doing. To make workers, do, make, commit, doers, makers, right? Here it is. Ordaineth, right? So when you go into that word, Salakia, go back. See if let me go into. Okay, you go into that word. Okay, yeah, Salakia, but I got it here right here. AI overview. Ordaineth is in archaic form of the verb ordain, right? Meaning to officially appoint or decree something, right? Meaning they have the law, they can use the law, or to invest someone with ministerial factors. right? If I said that right. But let's get down here. I seen something earlier. To a point established to set someone in a specific role to create something, right? Yeah. Make Trump the king, right? Because that's basically what they're doing. Oh yeah, right here. To establish a law, right? Which that's what they do. They it says they're gonna transgress and use the law as their strength to establish a law or new type of government, especially or a specific rule, right? So you can no longer use the dollar, and if in order for you to buy and sell, you must use this form through this way, through this verification. You must verify your face, your eye, your retina, your fingerprint to verify this is who you are in order to buy and sell, having what the mark, the charagma, the karax, the grapho, which is the micro C hip, right? Yeah, so it's Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 10, Salakia. Chapter 2, verse 10, let us oppress the poor, righteous man, right? And that's what, I mean, what do you think that's all for? Right? Let's do government shutdown. Let's cut off the EPT. Hey, they know we're the righteous, man. Even the 2/3 Jakes is more righteous than their neighbor, right? As the scriptures say, right? Well, you want to look for any type of truth. You know what I mean? Though Jake goes the freak off, most of the time Jake is straight up with you, right? You know what I'm saying? Jake is always saying, man, keep it real, right? But see, when it comes to Esau, he never keeps it real, right? You know. But like I said, ultimately, it's really to come against the elect, right? So let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us spare let us not spare the widow. See, when you know that these women most likely don't have a husband, they don't have these things because you set it up for them not to have a husband, right? So they're basically widows, man. You know, they get with these dudes and they're all gangbangers and drug dealers, so they're getting shot and killed or put in prison because, I mean, for the time you're giving them football numbers, so they might as well be dead. So these are all widows, man, right? But then the widow also deals with just it being Israel, because without Yahawashi, we're like widows, man, right? Because Yahawah was married unto us, man, but the Lord has a controversy in Zion, man, right? So that's why the Lord said that He's going to cut off 2/3 of His own people. You're like a widow with no husband, no one to defend you. See, but the elect is gonna be married unto Yahawashi, which is gonna bring us back to the Father once again, right? Let us not spare the widows, the women, the children, right? Nor reverence the ancient gray hairs, right? They ain't caring that, hey, you're on Medicaid? You need your insulin? You need your this and this and that? As if we care. We don't care if you're an old man. We don't care if you're an old woman, right? Nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength, right? We're going to bring in the military. We're going to bring in the National Guard. We the ones who brought in the drugs and had the connection to the cartel this whole time, right? You know, you tell me you got military cameras from outer space that can see a fly on someone's shirt from outer space, but you can't see drugs coming in from wherever, and you don't know where they went to. You don't know where it went. You got your military could put on goggles and things and have night vision. Matter of fact, you don't even got to put on the goggles. You can go get laser eye surgery to where you have night vision without even putting on goggles. So you have the technology. So you mean people are coming in and out of your thing with drugs? Well, like I said, you go back to the situation with the real Freeway Rick and his story and how that thing went all the way up to the White House, all the way up to the presidency. And of course, you have to pretend like you didn't know, but you knew. You're funding a war in some other country using the drug money, right? Using the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians' pain to fund a war somewhere else, man. Right? We were doing those drugs off of the pain, off the affliction. Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. You oppressed us, and through the pain of our oppression, we did the drugs and different things. So you used our pain and affliction to fund wars and all over the world, making that money. And then you turn around and say, let our strength be the law of justice. So yeah, you come, hey, we're coming in, we're gonna smoke them out, we're gonna drain the swamp, we're gonna do this and that, we're gonna, you know what I'm saying? There's a new sheriff in town, right? For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. So hey, these dudes, they're nothing. They're just a bunch of, you know, disenfranchised. They're black, right? That's what you like throwing a negative term. The black Hebrew Israelites, right? Right? And we're not black, we're brown. And really everybody on the planet is brown but you, Esau. Right? That's it. The only one that's not brown is Esau. So there's no such thing as all this different colors and stuff. There's only two colors, and it's red, which are you, Idawam, and brown, right? We come from the dust of the ground, right? But there's many different nations, right? Just because we're all brown and we all got, you know, different textures of woolly and curly texture hair, don't make us all family, right? The Lord's only dealing with the seed line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? So yeah, as you see, the workers of iniquities, which they're going to use the law really to be a goddamn criminal, to be legal criminals. And we, everybody know that's what they've been doing. Of course, even those regular Edomites, they do, but they try to ignore, you know, because, you know, they feel guilty too. They know they're just as guilty, but that's why they're going to go into slavery. I mean, bro, it doesn't even matter. What if their tongue like a sword and bend their bow to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, right? And this is when they go into, hey, well, you're the devil, right? The false accuser. You know, they're doing this, they're doing that. You may even use AI. Basically, they show you that in that Running Man, the old movie. They show you that was AI before AI is where it's at today. They recapitulated the film of him saying, I'm not gonna shoot on them. Those are just innocent people and children who wanted what? Food. So fast forward to today, and here it is. People are warring and fighting, and their lives are interrupted over what? Food, and being able to afford that food. So food and jobs, even in that running, they were showing you that's what they were going to go with, where this is, where things were headed, right? Giving you gradualism, right? They encourage themselves in evil matter, in a evil matter, right? To bring forth the Karagba. They're encouraging, yes, we got the laser weapons, we got the drones, so yes, everything's going good. Yeah, we push forth the these psyops. It looks like they've fallen for it. Yeah, we got them where we need them, right? All this is pushed forth in an evil manner. They commune of lying snares, right? And right, because this whole thing with shutting down the government, shutting down it's the layer snares, because they shut down the whole entire earth one time over the common code, so to speak, allegedly, right? Privately, secretly, privately, sneakily, right? And they're still doing it, right? They say, who shall see them, right? Dealing with the ultimately the Illuminati, the government, the shadow government. And they're the ones who's controlling all these different things. And Trump is just a puppet, right? And all their elites and these things, they're all puppets, right? But at the end of the day, that's what they do. They search out iniquity. They establish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep, man. So they're constantly meditating on this. They're constantly having these different G summits and G6 and G7 and BRICS and this and that, right? Because think about it. If Russia's so against what they're talking about, why is Russia about to roll out a digital dollar? Why is China wasn't rolling out digital dollar? Why is Vietnam have thousands of people without a bank account because they shut it down because they didn't put in their biometrics? Because this is the whole world has to be tried by this. This is what the Lord said. They're all in cahoots. But the whole thing about the Lord is the Lord knows how to bring division. And a house that is divided, hey, it's not going to stand. Eventually, the Medes are going to come against the whore, right? Right along with the Persians, which is Iran, right, and the Medes being Russia, and going to come against the Israeli, right, and then World War III is going to pop off, right, and then all these going to hate the whore, and they all going to shoot missiles on America, right, to give you the short and the skinny, right, getting to the point, right, but the power shall shoot at them, see, and that's where they're going to be in straits, man. At the end, they're doing all these things only for the Lord, to his only begotten Son, to shoot at them. Laser beam from the chariots, man. Right? Shoot at them with an arrow. What? Suddenly, see? So once that rock that's carved out without hands strike those toes, that's partly strong and partly broken, to collapse your entire system, right? It's gonna happen to you suddenly. You're gonna think everything is in good case. You're gonna think everything is good. You're gonna be filling your belly. Everything's gonna be good, and suddenly shall they be wounded. Right? Hey, this whole thing is gonna be done. Right? And this time you're not coming back. You're not gonna be the one with the deadly wound, but then you heal it. This wound is incurable. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, right? And that's ultimately what will happen, because they're gonna, yeah, and these shall what? Hate the whore, right? Because everybody's gonna flee away. Oh shit, they're gonna make their yeah, because what? Shameful spewing shall be upon your glory, right? Yeah. So continue back here. So Job 20:23, when he is about to fill his belly, the power of the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. See, gonna shoot at him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. Right, just to go back over it, he shall flee from the iron weapon. Right, the ICBM missiles, man, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, the Poseidon. What's that new one he got? Putin. I forgot what it's called, but that thing has it is instead of it being powered by rocket fuel, it's powered by nuclear energy. So it's a nuke that's powered by nuclear energy. That's just crazy, bro. Oh man. And he shall flee from the iron weapon, right? And that's what's gonna happen. You're never coming back. You can go into your bunkers, and then we're gonna round you up, slap chains on you, and the bow of steel shall strike him through, right? Yeah, see, you ain't coming back, Esau. You're never coming back. And there ain't no way you're joining hand in hand with this, with this devil, and singing kumbaya, man. That's just not, that's a farce, right? Esau, no heathen can be saved. Yeah, I reject that for sure. I mean, I can't get down with no camp talking about a heathen can be saved. You know what I'm saying? And it is drawn and cannot. Woo, come on now. Because all of a sudden you decide that the heathens can make it, and now it's gonna make the missiles go back. It's gonna make everything go back to what you think. Well, even these heathen already said it doing the CV-19. They said the new normal. Well, the new normal is the missiles are gonna hit, and Yahawashi is gonna reign and rule with King David on the throne, and 144,000 implementing the law, statutes, and commandments perfectly, because it will be within the inward parts, man, across the entire world, bringing forth judgments and rewards as a God would, right? Does not your law say ye are gods, man? We're bro, hey man, we're gonna be gods, man. Lord willing, I'm part of that number, right? It says yeah, draw and cometh out of the body, right? They're gonna, when the missiles go up, come out, and they start separating, and then the only thing's coming is the head, the nuclear head, down to destroy this place. Yea, the glittering sword, right? That's the nukes, man. The sword of the Lord cometh out of his gal terrors upon him, and all darkness, right? And all darkness shall be hidden in his secret places, and a fire not blown shall consume him, right? What fire not blown? Because you know how you normally you take a either like that little flint thing, so you spark it, you take two rocks or however they do it, you try to do it like that, and you get a spark and you try to just to get the fire to come up, right? It wasn't blown to do that. It's just gonna ignite, right? Because it's nuclear uh nuclear heat, basically. That's, I'll just say it that way. Shall consume him, it shall go ill with him, right? That is left in his tabernacle, right? And that's the rest of you Edomites, man. It's gonna not go good for you, right? So those that are in the bunkers and you Edomites that's on the other side of the world, yeah, it's gonna hey, you're finna go into well, because after you barely survive, the chaotic situation that you're going through, hunger, starvation, wild beast, and all these other things, you're gonna see the men of the Lord coming out of the chariot, the new heaven, the new Jerusalem, coming to round you up and put you in chains, right? Well, might as well. Then I'll go to continue on real quick. So the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, and that's what's happening, man. Through the internet, the heavens is revealing your iniquity, right? Was it the revolution is televised, right? And not to mention the it will be seen when these missiles hit, and the earth shall rise up against him, right? And that's what they shall hate the whore and come up against you. Yeah, so it's Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, and 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, right? Which the whore is what? Dealing with America, Babylon the Great, right? The daughter of Babylon, right? And the 10 horns are upon the 7 heads, right? Because they were the vassal states, the where the power of the NATO came from, right? From before time, the 7 heads, which is Germania Major, Rome, France, Germania Minor, British, Greek, Spanish, right? Spain, basically Spanish, Spain. Going into those 10 heads, the Belgium and Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, right? Of course, like I said, Greece, Spain, Portugal, England, Ireland, which they were basically the same landmass were rulization over, and Western Germany, right? So that's that 10 showing you that things stem from somewhere. You know what I mean? Those vassal states, right? So this thing it's not an accident, right? But those that's like they're gonna remember kind of sense in a way they're gonna remember the old way, so to speak, and realize this place needs to be destroyed. So they're gonna hate the whore, and she'll make her desolate and naked, and she'll eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? And that's the missiles, the ICBM missiles, because people are going to realize it's going to have them rise up, right? They're going to have you in straits, right? You're going to flee from the iron weapon. For the power, the Most High, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, put in their hearts, la'ab, which means in their minds, right? That's what heart means, to fulfill his will. So really, this is all the will of the power, the Most High, man. And he's going to place it in their heart, right? The hearts, or the la'ab, is in the hands of the power, man, right? Of the kings, are in the hands, or in Yahweh's hands, right? Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi's hand. And to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast until the word of power shall be fulfilled, right? Amen. And hey, your end is drawing nigh, right? Right. And since the world is given into the hands of the wicked, right, and being in straits, it says woe, right, which means judgment, to the world, right, and them that dwell in it. And you're the elite, so you still dwell in this world. So it's going to be a woe, a judgment unto you too, also, right? You dwell in the world, right? But you figure, hey, if I could just get on in a ship and fly into outer space, I'd be okay. If I could just get into one of these bunkers, Cheyenne Mountains, I'd be okay. No, that's, you live on the earth, you're gonna be in straits too. You're gonna go through a place of difficulty in this, right? And yeah, you may make it into the bunkers or whatever, but hey, it's only for a time. So you're gonna be there for so long, and then chains are gonna be put on you, and you're gonna be into continual employment. Right? For the sword, right, which is those ICBM missiles that once it gets shot off, coming out of the what is it, the iron, you shall flee from the iron weapon, which is the ICBM missiles, right? For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. So those missiles are coming to the point that they're going to be shot off, right? But before that happen, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with sword in their hands, right? So before that happened, what people are going to be rising up against their so-called quote-unquote government, right? For there should be sedition amongst men, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cause of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because once finally people, I guess, they finally get enough, or they actually realize, when people have nothing else to, because especially when it comes to America, a lot of these people, they've had so much that even with the shutdown thing, and it's grinding them down. But it's going to be when everything is completely lost, right? When people have nothing to lose, they're going to lose it. And that's when it's going to be within the power of the hand. And that's when you could be able to bring the order out of chaos, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, right? That's when you could bring in the martial law, this and that, the what do you call it? The digital ID, right? Including the micro C hit with it, right? Because you may be pushing out the digital ID now, and it may be not a mandatory thing, but it's going to come to where it's mandatory, and they don't give a damn if you do it or not. They plan on killing the majority of the planet anyway, right? There's about 8 billion people on the planet, and they're talking about via the Georgia Guidestones before they blew them up, and then try to blame it on some type of T word, right? Because they always do that. Everything has to do with T words. You were joint hand in hand with the cartels before, and now the cartels is a T word, right? Anything's either, everything they like to do is dismiss everything, But like I said, they're gonna use the law for their strength. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, right? Houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And it's going to be a crazy time coming soon, right? A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And you know what comes in after this, right? Peace and safety. What comes in after this is peace and safety. Right. So this is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, hey, don't worry about it. Look, I have everything under control. We're going to come in with this. We know that the stock market's crashed and we can't use the dollar anymore. And we know you don't have Bitcoin anymore or whatever other coins. But you know what? Here, we have this stable coin or this, whatever however they're going to name it. The new confederation of the universe, universal basic, whatever coin, right? You're a citizen of the world now, right? We have your 15-minute cities. We have your, re-education centers. We have these things, right? Like I said, they said that in the Running Man, right? Going back all the way back to 1987. They were showing you how, I guess the guy was, remember, I guess he helped the guy from the Running Man to get out, which was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Forgot the guy's name, his character that he's playing, but it was played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his brother was the one who helped him out. But they must didn't have enough, but they knew he was doing, so they sent him to a re-education center. So that way you follow their rules, their guidelines. Like a child, you put them in timeout, so to speak. And that's what that's what they're gonna do. Give you peace and safety. Then sudden destruction. They're gonna just completely, speaking like a lamb, two horns like a lamb. Giving you Democrat, Republican, and giving you so-called democracy and making you feel like you can vote and you have a decision. They're gonna show you that you don't have a decision, and they're gonna speak as a dragon. They're gonna go into draconian measures. Sudden destruction cometh upon them as a travail, as upon them as travail upon a woman with child. So that's when the Lord's gonna bring it to, right? They're gonna be in straits. They think they're just gonna get away, like as if the Most High ain't going to have anything to do with anything. No, the Lord said they're going to be in straits. The hands of the wicked are going to come against them. They're going to be in strait, and things ain't going to never go back to normal, right? As travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape, right? So a lot of these regular, your everyday Joe Schmo citizen, but even the elite, the so-called, they ain't going to escape. But they figure they got control over it. Even with the thing, they're gonna pretend they have control. But the Lord's gonna let everything go out of control. The Lord's gonna Apostle Harsh spoke about some, which I thought that was pretty interesting. He spoke about the ghost in the machine, right? Where the Lord will allow angels, even demons, right? Both sides to possess these robots and do what the Lord wanted to do, right? Which they kind of show you that in Terminator, right? Because they had control over the system, but the system turned against them, right? Why they think they have everything in control. But brethren, but ye brethren are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief, right? Because that's when the Lord is coming, right? Because once they push the charagma, everything's gonna go fast, and Yahawashi will be here. You know what I'm saying, in no time, right? Everything's gonna go fast. Everything's gonna go fast. This is Isaiah chapter 19, verse 2. And I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, which that's talking about you Americans, right? Whether you're so-called black or white, right? Because you want to be racist. Oh, I'm a white guy, I'm a redneck, and I hate those N-words over there. And I'm a black, and I don't care about no white and then you're gonna go back and forth because you both have lived cushy lives, so to speak. And yeah, the so-called white had a little bit better because he has white privilege, but you live good too here. I mean, any slums and ghettos in America is far greater than any slum or ghetto in Lebanon or Haiti, right? You go to some of these places that's around the world, China, things that these people are going through. Even though you live in a ghetto and there's always gunfire and shoot, and you're still living better than a lot of people, but you are oppressed. That's how they do it. They oppress the poor righteous man, right? But at the end of the day, you are all consumed by Egypt, man. The this place where it's basically how you go. the garden of, like the Garden of Eden, right? It's Eden, right? Paradise, right? Because that's what the scriptures tell you, right? In Joel, paradise before it, and a fiery uh destruction, judgment afterwards, right? But it says I will set up Egyptian against Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother, right? And every one against his right. You'll fight against your brother for the lack of bread, for the lack of food. But you're also going to fight against what? Against his neighbor. So I don't like those black people over there. I don't like those Mexican people. I don't like these, what you call them. And, you know, and America's always had this racial tension anyway. So how much more in the time when everything collapsed, when everything speeds up, pushing forth the charagma, the crux, the grapho, right? Right? When everybody's in distress, angry, frustrated, no one to put their frustration out on. Of course, you're going to do it against your brother, against your neighbor. You have the lack of bread, lack of food, right? So intense that men will be afraid, right? Right? And everyone against his neighbor, and again in kingdom against kingdom. That's going to be the Third World War, right? And that's when that's going to come in, and everything's going to go fast, man, right? And you're going to see, which that's already happening now. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail, right? And it's doing that now, but it's a slow decline. The Lord ain't just ripping it right off from underneath you, not quite yet. But it's going to feel like that. It's going to feel like it just, oh, what happened? Everything was just good and it's just gone. Everything's turned to hell, right? Yeah. And you're going to realize hell is a condition. It's not a place where you burn forever. And you're going to know what hell is like. It's going to be hell on earth, hell on wheels, in the midst thereof. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. See, they think they're making all these decisions and this and that. And I'm going to do this and I'm going to make the law my strength and this and that. But the Lord said, you're going to be in straits, bro. You're going to be in straits. Esau, my brother Esau. Hey, was it the golden child? And he saw that was like a represent man, dude. Eddie Murphy played a lot of spiritual movies, man. He did a lot of super spiritual movies. Because you go into Golden Child, which that would be Israel, right? We're the actual golden child. And then when he sees basically the devil, right, the false accuser, right, not someone that burns in the ground, and even in the movie you see he prays to Satan. That's Esau. He represents Esau, right? And when he sees him, he says, "My brother Numsky, hi, my brother Numsky, how you?" And he basically, hey, he yikwabs him, and because the dude wanted this knife, right, and the knife represents the scriptures, right, the power, the kingdom, because the kingdom comes through the word, right? The kingdom of heaven was within you, right? And plant these words which are able to save your soul, right? So that's where we're at. We have this knife, this sword, right? The word of the Lord is a weapon, is our weapon, right? Our weapons in warfare are not carnal. So this is where we're at, man. And that's a very spiritual movie, man. Hey, and that's what it is. And so we have the knife, like so to speak, from that movie, from the Golden Child. We have the knife, but he don't. And I will destroy the counsel thereof. See, and through this, let's bring out this word, right? We're cutting them deep through the spirit, right? When it's not a physical sword, a physical knife, but through the spirit, it's cutting them, right? And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek their idols. See, they're going to go back to praying to Satan. Satan, what do I do? These Israelites, man, they're everywhere. They're popping up everywhere. There's a camp coming up everywhere. Man, what can we do? Oh, I got my vocab. I got my guy vocab on it. He's turning Genesis into his little, you know, he made them bow down to him. You know what I'm saying? I got that, but there's still other camps coming up, popping up everywhere. And these GMS guys, man, hey, they don't budge. They don't move. They stand stiffly for the name of Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi. Man, what can I? And the devil's telling them, do this and do that and do that, right? Make these enchantments, right? And to charmers, right? To make the enchantments, to start doing these enchantments, to make it charmers, and and that's what they send out, vocab and all these other things they try to do. And to them, that have familiar spirits, and to wizards, and I and the and the Egyptians, right? Whether you're so-called black or white or Mexican, you think you're all these different things, but the one thing, it's supposed to be the United States of America, and one thing you're not is you're not united, right? And the Lord's going to show you that, right? But you are united in one way, because you're going to have what? And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. Hey, one thing you're going to have in common is that cruel Lord. But hey, peace and safety. Oh, here, I could come in here, take this charagma, get this digital ID, get this and that. We'll take everything. Hey, sudden destruction, man. You're gonna all things are gonna come. You're gonna see. And I will give over unto the hands of a cruel Lord, which is Donald Trump. So far, what we see, now unless he somehow drops, and then JD Vance step up, and that it was definitely a devil, right? And a fierce king, right? Right now we know it's Donald Trump, shall rule over them, saith Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi of hosts, right? And yeah, and the waters shall fail from the sea, and the rivers shall be waste and dried up. So that's the food stamps and all the other things, because they got water in those bunkers. They got food. They probably got all the livestock and all the other stuff. You coming up missing animals and missing this and missing that. They got the livestock and this and that in those bunkers. That's why all of a sudden you got food plants and chicken plants and all this stuff. Hundreds of different places where they create our food here. They burn it up in 1 year. It was 100 places in 1 year, all burned up in 1 year. And who knows what's still happening, right? I think that's it. I'll do this. I'll finish this up. It says, and they shall turn the rivers far away. Yeah. Dealing with the elite and dry up the rivers. Like I said, I really think that, because they keep talking about the certain lakes and this and that. I think they're pumping the water out for them, because they have those water filtration systems, that could turn, make the water clean and this and that. All of a sudden, you're gonna be Arizona and California, and they're gonna be in a drought, right? They name all these places that's going to drought and so on, such time, but it could be them pumping out a lot of the water for themselves, which I believe, allegedly, right? And it says, rivers far away and the brooks of defense, right? Yeah, see, because water, food, things they have, it's for a defense, right? Even these animals, all of a sudden, they're coming up with these different diseases and stuff in the woods. So if things collapse, you figure, hey, everything collapsed, that's fine. We have plenty of deer and elk or whatever in the forest, and if push comes, hey, a moose. Mooses are huge, right? A lot of meat in that. I don't know if that's good tasting meat, but hey, But then if they coming up with some type of weird disease and growing horns and stuff, the little rabbits and whatever. Hey, man. Your defense is gone. Poison the water, right? Which I believe that's what they've been doing, right? Shall be empty and dried up, and the reeds and the flags shall wither, right? And that's the place where you fish. Oh well, I'll just skip down. Yeah, the fish, right? Because fish is like a way of meat. The fish also shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament, and they that spread the net upon the water shall languish, right? And that goes into your fishing, so you got waters, canals, things which we've been saying that. We said the farmers were going to cry. The farmers went to Trump saying, hey, what's going on? We've trying to make money and we're trying to do this, but then you gave our stuff to Argentina, then China buys Argentina stuff. So what are we doing? So the farmers are complaining. This is prophecy that we've been saying was going to happen then the fishermen are going to complain, and then the hunger and the thirst and everything. And hey, when people have nothing to lose, people are going to lose it. So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. I give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, shalom, right? Because the hopeful elect will be the elect. Shalom to the elect. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. And the Bible ball. Kwam Yasharallah.